We have steam cars, we have electric cars. Here's a 1913 Argo. We'd like to welcome you to the Fountainhead Antique Auto Museum.
This museum doesn't stand out just because it's in Fairbanks, Alaska.
There's a 1921 Argon, and that's the only surviving one.
It stands out because some of the cars on display here can't be found anywhere else in the world.
In this building, there's a total of 8 that are lone survivors.
Tucked in amongst these automotive supermodels is a modest-looking Alaskan car.
Here we have the 1905 Bobby Sheldon car.
A simple two-seater, what car guys would call a runabout.
This car was built down in Skagway, Alaska.
And just as rare as any car in the building.
This was the first car in Alaska.
Built not for the need of a ride, but for the affection of a girl. Bobby talks about that girl in this 1964 interview.
In 1904, I was in Skagway, Alaska as a young man. And while you might not think it, look at me now, I had a sweetheart in those days, and she was something very special.
His competition was a doctor's son with a real nice horse and buggy.
And I said, if I can do something to compete with that horse and buggy, maybe I have a chance.
And he decided that if he could build an automobile, he could maybe win her affections.
The 21-year-old worked at the town's power plant, so he had access to all kinds of tools. He just needed some parts.
The engine came out of a boat that was sunk in the harbor.
Bar stools for the seat.
Scrounged a bunch of wood, used an old gas pipe to make the tiller.
It's chain drive.
There's not a part on it that wasn't used from something else.
After months of working secretly,
1905 is when he came out with it.
Bobby, now 22, took the first test drive at 3 a.m., just in case it didn't work.
Finally, the darn thing ran. To my surprise, as much as anyone else.
He had good reason to be surprised, because Bobby Sheldon had never even seen a car before, only in pictures and magazines.
Pretty impressive feat.
But the big question still remains. Did he get the girl?
He must have. There's no way that he didn't.
But she finally married the boy with the horse and buggy.
So he didn't get the girl, but he did get featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not.
He'd done it for the love of a lady.
And a spot in Alaska's history books. For Simon, Alaska, I'm Eric Sowl, Channel 2 News.
Very exciting.
It is a rare opportunity.
Little bird's feet.
Are you here for the tattoo presentation?
Okay, I'm starting.
At a local tattoo parlor, people have gathered.
She's dipping the needle and the ink.
To watch as the past is restitched to the present.
Just pulls it through the skin.
It's called skin stitch tattooing, once practiced by women throughout the Arctic, until the modern world showed up.
We were colonized by the Danish king in 1721, I believe, and 50 years later it was gone.
Inuit tattoo artist Maya Sialuk Jakobsen is from Greenland.
I've been trying for a couple of years now to figure out how far gone is it.
The arrival of missionaries in Alaska quickly brought an end to this cultural form of tattooing. Holly Nordlum can remember her great-grandmother having skin-stitch tattoos. This is quite possibly the first tattoo done in Alaska using this method in close to 100 years.
We're lucky still in Alaska. Contact is so recent, mostly in northern Alaska, 50, 100 years. So we still have living people, living elders who have some knowledge.
No longer practiced, the tradition had gone extinct. So when Jakobsen wanted to learn how to do it, there was no one to teach her.
I have gone through all the literature I could find in English, in Danish, in Swedish, Norwegian, in Dutch, in German. I read through everything. I've been in the basements of every museum I could find in Europe that would have anything laying around about these subjects.
Approximately, it is for a distance like this, maybe 40 stitches. So it's pretty tight. Itty bitty small.
I asked a lot of women about the stitches, not in tattooing, but in clothing. I came to the conclusion that there shouldn't be a huge difference.
Originally, the tattoos were used for things like enhanced fertility and protection from illness and enemies. Now, sterilized steel replaces needles of bone. The color no longer from soot or gunpowder.
Regular ink,
No more strands of sinew.
cotton thread. It holds the ink.
A technique once practiced for centuries, lost to time, existing only in photographs, until now. And it's already gotten attention.
On Facebook last night, it was just blowing up. People from Canada, Nunavut, Russia, Greenland, they're just like so excited, and I'm so proud to be a part of that.
Armed with a small steel needle and a short piece of thread, two determined women and a tattoo depicting 3 bird feet
It is important to understand your culture.
have started to repair a cultural gap of almost a century, one stitch at a time.
You done?
For Simon, Alaska, I'm Eric Sowl, Channel 2 News.
This is where it all originated.
St. Mary's is getting ready for an important guest.
17 and 18.
You can have a seat over there or over there.
The entire village has shown up.
You like chocolate or caramel on top?
Not for the ice cream man, but he is popular.
Nice to meet you.
Not for the governor.
Hey, Willie, Merry Christmas.
And not for the U.S. Senator. They're here to greet a regular visitor to their village, and they don't think it's odd he shows up in a C-130.
Come on up.
Hi, how are you?
The mission of Operation Santa Claus is to bring Christmas cheer, goodwill, and much needed supplies to our remote villages in Alaska.
Hey, little guy, how are you?
An Alaskan tradition.
Look, it's ho ho ho. It's ho ho ho, Pete.
Volunteers, businesses, the Salvation Army, and the National Guard have brought the spirit of Christmas
Can you smell pretty?
to remote villages for over 50 years.
We are a community-based organization, and this is all about giving back to the community.
Good to see you.
Averaging 5 trips a year, Operation Santa Claus figures they visited about 300 villages.
Yeah, that's nice.
We've given out well over 500,000 gifts.
Are you real?
Yeah, I'm real. Are you real?
Yeah.
But this village holds a special distinction.
Here we are back at the original location, the very first one, 1959, in St. Mary's.
That year was a bad year for the village. Poor hunting and fishing forced St. Mary's Mission to spend all of their money on food. There wasn't anything left for Christmas gifts. The National Guard stepped in to help, and Operation Santa Claus was born. Mayor Bill Alstrom remembers that year.
We didn't have an airport then, but he landed on the river out there.
Christopher Mike was 5 years old.
I remember Santa came out, everybody else came out. They threw out some Santa stockings, apples, oranges, candies.
We can all get our picture taken.
Every kid gets a backpack of school supplies, a cap knitted by volunteers in Florida, a book,
Merry Christmas,
and a new gift.
Legos.
The kids of the village say thank you with a dance performance. Elders can't resist and join in, and soon the guests are dancing too. The St. Mary's Mission is gone now, but their original plea for gifts
that's a good picture.
still keeps Santa coming back. And it also keeps communities gathering together to celebrate.
Good job.
For Simon, Alaska,
That's the best one yet.
I'm Eric Sowl, Channel 2 News.